With age comes wisdom, experience, and a whole lot of unexpected changes. Welcome to Dad Brain, where two best friends share their journeys through the ups and downs of their 30s. Get ready for the raw and honest realities of growing older. Here are your hosts, Matt K. and Matt L.
Welcome to Dad Brain, the podcast where two 30-year-olds talk about the strange time between your youthful 20s and your midlife crisis.
Dad Brain, the transition from youthful optimism to thinking like our dads.
I'm Matt K. This is Matt L. And this is Dad Brain.
This guy right next to me, well, not quite right next to me. He's about 1,000 miles away. This is one of my BFFs. We met a long time ago, and he's one of those real ones. This is the proud owner of not one, not two, but several pieces of artillery. Matthew K.
And this guy 1,000 miles away from me has stolen my car. And we're still friends.
What's the statute of limitations on that?
I'll never forget, and I'll never forgive.
You know, I don't want to get too far off, our great discussion today, but yeah, I did steal your car, but your car was really easy to steal. You were like
Stop. It was a classic. You defaced a Japanese classic.
When you say classic, are you calling it a classic because it would be easy to steal, like how a Model T would be easy to steal?
Look, it's not my fault that the car was designed that you could stick a butter knife in the ignition and drive off.
Speaking of things that are from our past and didn't really work too well with us, let's talk a little bit about DARE.
Fuck DARE.
The DARE program. Okay? Now, that's not going to be the focus.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
DARE failed.
Yeah, but if you weren't around, but if you are listening to Dad Brain, you're in your mid-30s.
Yeah.
You know about the DARE program.
I don't think people that are in their 20s currently know about DARE. They just know that DARE is a funny T-shirt you can buy from, Hot Topic or something. They don't really know what it was.
They sell those at Spencer's Gifts or something?
Yeah, Spencer's Gifts, that fucking store.
That was the first time I actually saw a sex toy in person. And
that's where you got your first girlfriend, too.
That's where I purchased
the Fatty Patty.
That's where I purchased my
Just
first sex toy from. But we're not talking specifically about DARE this episode. By the way, when I was doing extensive research on today's episode, I looked up what DARE actually meant because I wasn't aware of that. It is drug abuse resistance education. Okay?
Or basically 2 hours a day of shit to try out when you're in college.
I thought you were going to say 2 hours a day. That's what they taught you when you were younger. Like you had 2-hour seminars on DARE.
That's what it felt like.
I don't really.
The worst part is we had to do it, and I was like, I don't know what cocaine is. Stop telling me it's bad. Just don't tell me about it.
Your DARE program got into cocaine?
It got pretty in-depth. It was 5th grade, man. Wild times.
My DARE takeaway is that marijuana is the gateway drug, and if you smoke marijuana or ingest marijuana, you're gonna be a heroin addict the next day.
Oh no, they told us that it starts with marijuana and ends with you huffing paint out of a garbage bag and dying of asphyxiation. They skipped over the fun stuff, really.
Okay, they also skipped over the fact that you're in elementary school. Where are you gonna get all these hard drugs from? Okay.
Well, we had spray paint.
I mean, not on my side of the train tracks. We didn't just have spray paint laying around, but yeah, I mean, not only do you not know what they're talking about because you're fucking 7, you're more concerned if Hey Arnold recorded on the VHS.
Oh yeah.
Than cocaine and stuff like that. But yeah, the drug program, I don't know about you, Matt, but for me, a lot of the way that I viewed drugs and alcohol growing up, I believe were affected by the DARE program. Like, I avoided drugs and alcohol for a very long time compared to some of my peers, especially my co-host.
Whoa, hey.
Thanks to the DARE program.
No. I avoided everything until college. Then it was like every weekend was Woodstock. Like, what could we try? What could we do? And how fucked up could we get? And I think that's DARE's fault.
All right, so it says right here, every week was Woodstock. Are we talking Woodstock 69, Woodstock 94, Woodstock
Fred
99?
Durst fucked it up for everybody.
Oh, okay, so you're talking Woodstock 99, where they lit everything on fire and knocked over ATM machines.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Yeah, 1999 was a wild time. I had a camp counselor who, have I ever told you this story? Well, if I haven't.
Is this like a safe space talk?
Yeah,
or
I can tell you.
Is this like Owly?
The first time that I went to like an organized summer camp, the counselor, he had just gotten back from Woodstock 1999 on the day that the summer
And
camp
they
began.
thought he was qualified to mentor children?
Yeah. His name was Mr. Buffa.
Kyle?
Mr. Buffa, and he only had one T-shirt the whole weekend, and it was like a tie-dye shirt from Woodstock. And like from that point forward, I don't know how old I was. I'm bad at math, but from that point forward,
You would have been 10.
Thank you. From that point forward, I was like obsessed with Woodstock 1999. Have you watched any of the documentaries on it? Oh my God.
It's a dumpster fire. I can't get through it.
It really is a dumpster fire. There was quite a few.
Dumpsters on fire.
Yeah, there was.
But, I mean, kind of back to our generation, college was, only people who grew up with DARE would find Asher Roth's music good.
This is the part where I'm going to cut in Asher
We were the
Roth.
only ones that could. Yeah, I love college. I love drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not quality, but fuck it.
The great thing about that song is that song came out in 2008 when like we were in the depths of the recession.
Dude, freshman year of college that came out. We made that song popular.
I have like a core memory of like walking across the bridge to campus while listening to that song, and I'm like,
From your apartment in Peninsular Place.
Yeah, I was like walking across the train tracks like, I'm fucking doing it, man. I'm in college listening to I Love College, and I'm going to do homework from a college class. Like, man, great times. But
This is how you became an educator. I'm talking about while you were an educator.
go fuck yourself.
If they had told you that you had to present DARE, what would you have said?
That's basically the equivalent of like rolling in the TV cart.
You would have loved it.
Yeah, putting Bill Nye the Science Guy on, regardless of the curriculum being taught in front of the class. Yeah, that's how I would react to. Either they give me the DARE materials, I could really spin it a little bit with them. You know, maybe they give me the costume of the tiger. That's the DARE. Oh no, who is the DARE mascot? I thought it was like a tiger or something.
I think it is.
What's the tiger's name?
I don't fucking know.
All right.
Do you really think I paid attention?
See, this is why we need our producer to be like, oh, it's Leo.
Darren the Lion.
Darren. Oh my
Darren.
God. I love that because I work in marketing and that's the laziest fucking name ever.
Oh, I found a great.
Yo, what should we name? All right, Matt.
Hold on.
We need to do a jam board real quick.
So, for our listeners, you were an educator. Now you are some bigwig in marketing.
Yeah.
What's your take on the marketing plan strategy for Darren? Which is, it's not even spelled right. It's one R. Like, fuck that lion. That lion's lying.
I can tell you that multiple people were involved. I can tell you that the timeline on getting this name approved was no less than 6 months. And
I think giant government grant, and they phoned it in. They said, "Fuck it, we're getting paid anyways."
I don't know, man. Marketing's a crazy world. Like, from a
Was it
consumer
in the '90s though?
I think more so. I mean, did you see that documentary of the kid who drank all the Pepsi to get Pepsi points to buy a fighter jet?
Yes.
You did watch it.
Well, I remember when that happened.
You have
I remember the whole Pepsi points program. I loved that shit. That's probably why I'm going to have diabetes.
you have a very robust watching schedule of like television and movies. So the fact that you watched that very obscure documentary.
No, okay, I didn't watch the documentary. I lived it.
But for this clip, you did watch the documentary. In
Okay,
three,
I watched it.
2, 1. Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah, I watched the documentary. Who hasn't?
I'm not. I got Netflix. Yeah.
I got Hulu, bitch.
Dude, it was 2 million points for a fighter jet. Okay?
No, I just love how like he got a real lawyer. He got all the way to the Supreme Court, and they were like, "Are you fucking serious? No, you don't get a fucking fighter jet."
Dude, it was okay. That verdict didn't come down until like 1999, 2000. This was like 4 or 5 years after he had like got the Pepsi like points in and everything.
That's the American legal system.
My favorite part of the documentary is where Pepsi sends him like $100,000 check to like fuck off, and he's like, "No, I want my fucking jet."
I need a $4 billion jet.
What the fuck are you gonna do with that thing?
Well,
Okay.
sell it to the Russians.
Have you seen the commercial?
Yeah, it's a Harrier jet.
It's a Harrier jet floating down
vertical takeoff and landing.
to the school parking lot. Okay, he pulls up to
Can't
school.
afford the fuel.
I feel like cashing in all those Pepsi points to get a Harrier jet just to flex at school. That dude,
Mad pussy, getting mad pussy.
mad pussy, like just whew, throwing it at him.
Skip dare give that kid sex ed.
He can teach everybody else. But yeah, I mean,
He'll find the clitoris before anybody else.
regardless of Dare's success rate, we definitely had similar but different college experiences, I would say.
Yeah, but I would still say that, after alcohol and marijuana were demonized, we fucking went at it like demons when we got into college, comparatively to our high school times.
This is a safe space, and we did have different experiences, but like if you look back on it, like what was like the most like hardcore thing you did in college? It doesn't have to be a drug, it doesn't have to be like alcohol, but like where you're like, damn, I did that.
I mean, okay. I ran naked a lot. Because if you
This is those
okay, to preface, we're from the last era of real beer pong where you played with beer.
This is true.
None of us got hepatitis, I think. But if you lost, you had to strip naked and run. And those of you who went to Eastern understand this, to the brick dick and back naked.
Rules
And
are
most
rules.
Most of college is in the winter. So Little Matt.
Thank you for the visual accompaniment on that.
I think I sent you a picture of me stripped down about to cheese run.
That was before Cheese Run, that photo?
Yes.
Yeah, right here. This is where the photo's going to appear in the clip. You looking vascular.
Looking like fucking McLovin.
Yeah, okay. I always had a question about the cheese run, the epic cheese run of Ypsilanti, Michigan. It didn't have to be
did
done.
you ever do one, or did you pussy out?
I pussied out. I never did one. I never had to do one. I was never forced to do one.
That's not true. I guarantee you had to.
I never had to do a cheese
ever
run.
played a game.
I never had to do a cheese run. Okay, but my question is, did the cheese run have to be done naked? Or, because you were in your boxers in that photo, thank God.
Well, there is a certain thing called indecent exposure, which stays with you.
Okay. Yep.
So, yes, ideally, it should be done naked, but because there's a bunch of narcs on campus, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the gnarliest thing you did on campus.
Yeah. I don't think I did anything too crazy.
So I'm going to float one your way.
Oh, God.
I'll float one your way. But if this isn't gnarly enough, then, you're going to have to, step up.
Is this something I did or you did?
No, but remember when I stole the nativity set from the church down the street?
And we turned them into sleds? Yeah, I fucking remember that. That's not even that gnarly. That's just sacrilege. That's,
Yeah. I don't know what the statute of limitations on that is, but
well, God is forgiving, so it's not.
Yeah. And I already bleeped out where we went to school, so we're good. They'll never know.
Good. Well, except I'm talking about the brick dick, which takes 2 seconds to find out.
If you Google brick dick right now, I guarantee you're not going to get Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Should I share my screen while I do it?
Oh, I guess so. See, that's why we needed the producer.
Oh! First thing, the water tower.
No way. Wow.
Yep.
Don't even share your screen. Your data cannot withhold that type of strain on the bandwidth. But okay, you win this one.
Well, it also wanted to autocorrect to brick dick art supplies, which I'm going to go back later after this podcast and look into that.
Okay, yeah. Report back. Let me know.
I will.
Okay,
All
so continuing on, we haven't even gotten to the topic at hand, by the way. We're getting there. We're plugging along.
Well,
yeah,
we can just come out and say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, I love drinking, and it started because of college.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about drinking in your 30s as compared to drinking in your 20s and how it's honestly not all that different. We just fucking lie about it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe it's better for you because you're sober or something right now. Some dumbass shit like that.
Okay. I can explain that first. All right. I feel like I've experienced everything I'm going to experience with alcohol. So I don't know why I continue doing it. But then...
Okay, hold on.
One second. Can I argue my own point first? I'm going to argue my own point first. Okay? But with that being said, do I have that same mindset about other things? Oh, well, I think I've experienced all the pizza I'm going to have. No. Because I'm going to have a different type of pizza that's actually going to be appealing. That's not going to happen again with alcohol because the root is still the same when it comes to alcohol. It all has alcohol in it. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, it sounds like you're just virtue signaling and those dare people finally got to you. I mean, you've experienced all that breathing has to offer, and here you are.
Say his name. His name is Darren.
Darren.
Yeah. But no, that's honestly how I feel. I was on humble brag. I was on a Mediterranean cruise with my lovely producer this past July, and I was getting flurried by Aperol Spritz everywhere I went. That was my go-to. So good, right? And I've made my decision that if I'm gonna drink, which is very sparingly now, it's gonna be an Aperol Spritz. You know why? Because now I associate that alcohol with that time and place.
Should we call this Mom Brain Podcast?
No, what? That's like a real thing. Like if you have like, I don't know, I read this article and it was saying like if you listen to a specific song. It was in
Cosmo, wasn't it?
If you listen to a specific song, if you have a certain drink that you normally don't have, you'll always associate with that time and place in your life. And I thought that was really cool. So I have a song from Italy and I have a drink from Italy now.
Okay. Are you listening to that song in your head right now?
No, I'm just waiting for your retort, you smart ass.
I don't have a retort. I don't think anything I say will change your mind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to change your mind. I mean, if we were the same person, I don't think we'd be as close of friends, so.
But you're definitely you enjoy drinking still. You're just saying that it affects you a little differently, which like we're not breaking any news here on the Dad Brain podcast with that one, right? We know
Yeah.
you.
So
Yeah. Go
the
ahead.
difference is, in your 30s, drinking becomes a hobby that is accepted and celebrated. So it's no longer, just drinking to get fucked up. It's drinking to brag about the latest IPA you have, or the expensive bottle of bourbon you're sampling. Instead of, just being like, dude, I drank 2 fists of Burnett's last night.
2 fists of Burnett's.
I mean, exaggerating. I've never done that, but I drank 5 o'clock. I couldn't afford Burnett's.
Yeah, I mean, even when you're having those IPAs, your Houghton Hops IPA and your Michigan Mead IPA. Look at that. I'm spitballing names.
Mead and IPA don't.
As soon as I said it, I was like, here comes the connoisseur for me.
But that's what I'm talking to. We lie about our alcoholism and say we're connoisseurs. And it's not a negative thing. I mean, I built a fucking bar in my basement, dude. I'm not saying we're alcoholics.
Yeah, we're going to need some B-roll of that for the viewing audience.
I got some. Don't worry.
I bet you do.
I'm going to do a whole podcast session of just people sitting at the bar talking to microphones.
But you're more of like a bourbon guy now, right? Like you're not like drinking like IPAs. Like if you are drinking, like what is your preferred beverage?
Well, like something like this. I mean, I'm easing into it with some solid gold lager I'm not going to say what brewery it's from, but
yeah. Fuck that. They don't need the free promotion.
I'll probably pour myself a bourbon shortly here.
Okay.
But I'm also getting more into like tequila because bourbon snobs have raised the price in bourbon to the point where I don't feel like paying for it.
Man, we could do a whole entire episode on bourbon, and the whole time I could be playing on my phone. It would be so fire.
I think before we regale them with stories of drinking in our 30s, we need to frame it with the debauchery of our college times and how it's totally changed.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, you got to go first, man. You got to set the tone here.
So I have a story that comes to mind it's not a story about me. Because you and I mean, anyways, it's a story about a mutual friend who, before getting drunk, we would do this thing called giving platelets, which is like giving blood, but you make $100 as opposed to $20.
It's called being poor in college.
But the key to it is if you time it right, you get super wicked drunk because
What a
you
bad
just
idea.
gave blood.
That is a horrible idea.
Terrible idea. So this mutual friend gives platelets and then proceeds to drink and then proceeds to think it's a good idea to climb the crane that's in the aforementioned church parking lot across from our house. So the rest of us also drinking duct taped him to a lawn chair in front of said church.
Yeah, that'll stop him.
It didn't stop him. He got out.
Yeah, I must have been off like studying or getting my degree or some shit while this was happening. But I know for sure I was not there. I know earlier we were talking about blueberry ale, and my college story doesn't involve holding somebody against their will. It involves blueberry ale, which was the first craft beer that I had ever had. And I always really liked that blueberry syrup that you could put on like pancakes that was actually blue, which in hindsight was probably loaded full of food coloring that later gave me some sort of mental issues. I digress.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. That's syrup. Corn syrup. Anyways, the blueberry ale. Yeah, that was the first craft beer I ever had. And basically, I was puking purple. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw berries in there, but I don't think they include berries with it. I was puking purple all night long, and I fell asleep on a bathroom floor for the first time, would not be the last time, using a toilet paper roll as the pillow. Thank you.
Which that same night, I believe I was more roped into these stupid college tropes than you were. So our listeners probably know this. There's a thing called slap the bag, played with boxed wine, and people just squeeze wine down your throat until you vomit or pass out. And that same night, I passed out in the chapter room of our fraternity house and woke up covered in popcorn and red wine drool coming out of my mouth.
So
with no recollection of it.
How do you win the game Slap the Bag?
I think I just told you how you win. That's winning.
That's winning?
That's winning, son.
Wow. I was never on the receiving end of the bag, so missed opportunity there. But I
next time we hang out, I'll bring a bag. We'll induct you.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna do a live episode of the pod, dude. Everybody's gonna be there. My producer, your producer. Everybody's gonna be there.
Mics.
Everybody's gonna be there.
All four. That's everybody.
You like that?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, college stories, cool. I will sit here and I will argue that my drinking stories from my 30s are actually better. And it's only because my producer has a better memory than I do. So this happens after my bachelor party when the producer and some friends of ours, we go to Las Vegas. And, you're doing the thing. You're playing beer pong inside the Margaritaville Casino. You're over here at that buffet eating a little bit of that. You're going to Raising Cane's.
Sounds like more fun than your bachelor party.
That's facts. You're going.
I don't think I'm ready to share your bachelor party with the audience yet, but this sounds more fun than the time I had.
Yeah, I know. And this is a story you haven't heard before, so shut the fuck up. So basically, you're just eating and drinking all day, and you're putting $20 in the slot machine, sitting there for 15 minutes while your ass falls asleep. Anyways, I feel like I've set the picture. So we go to this club that I've heard of. I used to be a DJ, wiki. And we go to this club called On the Record. And On the Record is like this it's like 3 clubs in one. It's dope. And they have awesome DJs. That's how I found out about it. And I'm just dancing the whole night away, drinking vodka waters, slamming vodka waters on an empty stomach. Yeah. So then after the club, we go out to Las Vegas Boulevard, and there's a Taco Bell Cantina there. And I'm like, I need to go to Taco Bell Cantina right now. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way. And I order my go-tos, Crunchwrap Supreme, Cheesy Beefy Bean Burrito, Gordita Crunch, and always a cheesy nacho with a Baja Blast Freeze. And best believe that I vomited every bit of whatever was left in my stomach all over Las Vegas Boulevard shortly after they said, order number 113, your order's ready.
In your 30s, drinking really becomes, I'm asleep on my couch by 11:30 at night. Like the whole staying up till 3 in Vegas, that's a rarity now.
Yeah.
If like we're gonna be done recording at 9 o'clock here, fucking 10:30, I might be out.
And that's okay. What do you need to stay up for?
We're not trying to prove anymore.
No. It's been written. The testament is basically in stone at this point.
We parted the Red Seas once. We don't need to do it twice.
We drank actual beer from the beer pong cups.
We had Four Loko back when it was Four fucking Loko.
We were there when the premiere episode of Jersey Shore was released.
I don't know if I want to brag about that, but actually, one thing I want you to look up though, it's what kids are doing nowadays
Okay.
They're making like this fake ass jungle juice in in milk jugs.
Okay.
And it's called like Rage Gallons.
Okay.
But it's mostly but it's like all hydrating stuff. It's healthy.
What?
And now college administrators are like approving it. They're like, "Oh yeah, do that. You're not sharing your drinks. It's not getting spiked. It's mostly electrolytes and vodka." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. When we were in college, all of our college administrators would have been like, "Oh, you need to go back to Dare if you're drinking Rage Gallons or whatever they are."
I need to know what the contents of these are right now. You're saying it's a healthy gallon of alcohol?
It's called a Blackout Rage Gallon. And
Is that the new Call of Duty?
I'm sorry. It's a Borg, a Blackout Rage Gallon.
A Borg?
Typically contains a fifth of vodka, water, and a flavor enhancer.
Oh, okay.
They're taking college parties by storm. Apparently, they're an acceptable way to consume vast amounts of alcohol.
Matt, what do you see as like the healthy thing in that? The water?
Well, you were talking about vodka water, right?
Yeah, it's usually my go-to.
I don't get it.
A Borg.
I'm not. Should we do a podcast where we both have a Borg and we got to try and finish it by the end of the podcast?
No, we should have a podcast where like not only is our dad brain like showing, but like also the fact that like we don't understand what's actually going on in college anymore. I follow this dude on TikTok, okay? And he's the best wingman. That's his whole bit, okay? He looks like Morgan Wallen a little bit, but like if Morgan Wallen was a little bigger, okay? And he's got the mullet. He's got a hat that always has something ironic on it.
How is he going to be the wingman if he's stealing all the chicks?
Well, he's a bigger dude. So the chicks don't really pay attention to him, okay? Because he's the best wingman. That's his whole angle, okay?
Are you body shaming fat Morgan Wallen?
No, he's an awesome guy. Like I love his energy, but he's just a bigger guy. I don't know how else to describe him. He's got a mullet. He's got an ironic hat, okay?
I'm just taking a cheap shot at you.
Okay. Anyways, he's the best wingman, okay?
Fucking prick.
So we're talking about the Borgs, the things that happen in college that we're not really akin to anymore because, we haven't been there in a minute.
Because
So
we're fucking adults.
the best wingman. This guy goes to bars. He just gets sloshed, okay? And then at like 12:30 at night, he goes up to these dudes and he's like, bro, who's the hottest girl right now? And fuck you, sushi. Okay? And they like say like, I think she's right over there, bro. And they walk over there and he's like, hey, that shit really fucking cute. Okay? And then they just make out, like spontaneously, like every single time. Like literally, the girl just has to hear that, like, he thinks
If
that
that's
she.
not scripted, I hate the world right now.
Dude, the best wingman. Check him out. I think his name's Alex. GG.
All right, you check out some Borgs. I'll check out this best wingman bullshit.
Yeah, we definitely gotta, be a little more hip with the times, or else our dad brain is not only gonna take over like our thoughts and everything, but also like our ineptness with like cultural relevant things. Like I would have never known what a Borg was. I thought that would be like a race on like the Shrek movies or something.
It's Star Trek, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Wow, thanks for correcting me on the Star Trek thing. But
Nerd.
yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm never going to enjoy alcohol again anymore. It just means that with this dad brain currently on my shoulders, that I've made the conscious decision that the positives of limiting alcohol have far outweighed the negatives, or however you say that.
Yeah, I mean, now my biggest humble brag, whether it's warranted or not, or people want to hear me talk about it, is, I went all week without having a drink. I didn't even have a beer once this week.
They just have like confetti ready. They're just like
no,
ready.
they're like, yeah, that's fucking normal, dude.
So,
But I mean, I don't think dad brain is about slowing down with a vice or anything like that. It's just you're not doing it to make a scene anymore. And I think it's we dial it up as a hobby. Whereas in college, we just drank to drink. Now we drink to go play laser tag. You know, we drink to converse about the finer whiskeys and shit like that.
Yeah.
Or we drink to brag about how we don't drink very often.
Doesn't sound like that part's really working out for you.
Well, we're doing a whole podcast session about fucking getting drunk in our 30s, so I'm trying to put on a show.
And you're doing a great job. Another thing that really kind of confuses me, and I know we've already talked about like the alcohol thing, and we're gonna do other pods on the other pieces, but it's also strange now, like with the dad brain on my shoulders and being in college and experiencing this and being a product of the DARE program. It's just how socially acceptable marijuana has become.
Marijuana, cocaine.
I saw
Ray
cocaine.
Ray Liotta stoked his life on that.
Okay. This is my spoiler-free review of Cocaine Bear. Bear.
I'm so excited.
Bear. Cocaine. Dead people. End movie. Thank you.
I thought you were going to say Bear beats Battlestar Galactica.
That's it. I just saved you $8 per person. Unless you buy snacks, then you're looking at like $25.
Well, you got to buy. No, you never buy snacks. You sneak your own in. Except for the popcorn.
The movie is gory, but it's also like comically gory to the point where you're not like, ugh. It's the point where you're like, ugh.
So, did you go into that movie sober?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a Thursday night. I have a job.
So, you work from home, first of all.
At this very desk.
You don't even own a fucking car.
No.
What's the problem with being fucked up?
It's a good point. No, it goes back to what I was saying, though. If I'm going to, it's the positives, right?
No, I agree with you. Like, now, I love the feeling of not being hungover more than anything else.
Yeah.
And just being the best version of me I can be. And that, again, not to say that I don't like to teetotal it up and get a buzz on, because that can be a good thing, too. Like,
Agreed.
Sometimes you got to drink away the day.
Yeah.
But let's go back to DARE. You were talking about how fucking marijuana is legal now. Like, that was a pretty big 180. And once you're in your 30s, you kind of realize how many people had smoke weed and how many people smoked weed the whole time we were growing up. Like, there's so many of my friends' parents that I found out were getting high while we were hanging out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also how many adults have done, currently do, or have watched somebody do cocaine and just been like, whatever.
Yeah. No, it's definitely strange to like observe all of that, to observe that change. Because when we were talking about the DARE program, like I said, it influenced a lot of the decisions I made as I was growing up, where I avoided all those things and
Those people,
right?
because they made it sound like those people would turn you into a drug addict.
But it also wasn't common knowledge, like whose dad was a stoner, right? You had an idea because he was that dude with the sick vet with the cool leather interior who always played Metallica. And every time I would get in his car after baseball, it would be Fuel. Fuel, let it burn, right? So, yeah, now that I look back on it, that dude was the stoner for sure. For sure.
Well, it also, like, now it's so mainstream. I remember in college to get weed, there was some fake-ass wannabe Rastafarian white dude with clip-on dreads who always claimed he got his shit flown in from Jamaica.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And it totally unprepared us for the world of recreational marijuana, because the shit's so strong now, like, you can't take it.
It's so strong, and it's going to be so legal. Yeah, so as we're wrapping up here on today's episode, we're just seeing differing viewpoints here. And even though we have differing viewpoints, this is my buddy. This is my pal. This is Champ. This is sport. And even though he's going to, continue drinking and I'm going to continue weaning myself off, it's fine. It's just what's your personal decision. Follow what your body tells you, right?
Yeah. And that's really where Dare failed, is it tried to feed you this line of bullshit that anything you do that's not sobriety will only be a negative mark in your life. And I don't know what they were all worried about. Like, we're not in 5th grade doing shrooms and becoming alcoholics.
Yeah.
We were illegally downloading and pirating shitty music and hardcore porn. That's what they should have been worried about.
Yeah. And, I think that's a great place to end it because I don't think we're going to be able to talk.
I had a whole riff about Whiskey Dick, but all right.
Well, there's always next week.
Well, I've been told it's terrible.
I've been told. Yeah. Yeah. Word on the street is you got to watch out for that WD.
The synopsis is, in your 30s, you still say and think stupid shit when drunk. You just don't do as much stupid shit.
Yeah. And instead of hanging out at your buddy's house, you start a podcast with him and you make a special time in your week every single week to get together and talk about the thing that matter to you. And at the crack of that cold one, we have come to the end of the Dad Brain Pod. Catch us next Sunday for another episode. If you haven't already, check out dadbrainpod.com. If you got questions, make sure you send an email to producer@dadbrainpod.com for ideas, comments, complaints. If you want to advertise with us, if you're a local pizza restaurant, if you have a demographic that caters both Michigan and Florida, maybe like a Little Caesars, maybe like a Jets Pizza, maybe like a food franchise, make sure you email admin. Make sure you email admin at dadbrainpod. Thanks for fucking up my read. Fuck with us on the gram. You know what it is, homie. At dadbrainpod. I'm not going to talk about our next episode because we got to keep you guessing. That's my buddy over there, M. Kelly. As soon as we turn off these recorders, he's going to crack himself another delicious IPA. Perhaps
I'm going to go shotgun one.
Perhaps
off camera.
Perhaps a Detroit double IPA. Maybe a Sheboygan Copper IPA. Maybe a Erie Eucalyptus IPA.
If there's any brewmasters listening and you use these names, we will come after you. Those are our fucking names, okay?
Are you going to sign me off? Sign me off, baby.
All night long. This has been a great end to our podcast, thanks to Matt L. over there, our producer, the brains behind dadbrainpod.com. The dad behind dadbrainpod.com, I might add. So, thanks for spending this. We've been on for a little over an hour. Thanks for spending that time with me, especially now that we're 1,000 miles away.
No.
I'll never see you again.
You're not so emotional I am.
These are fake tears. Well, next time, guys, we'll see you.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Dad Brain. New episodes come out every Sunday. Don't miss any. Subscribe today wherever you listen to podcasts. While you are there, help spread the word about Dad Brain by leaving a rating and review. Can't get enough Dad Brain? Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Dad Brain Pod.